This is my transformation journey of losing over 60 pounds and then repairing a 3-finger gap between my muscles from my 3 large pregnancies with a tummy tuck. Now, I'm going to share with you in this video everything that I did and exactly the system that I followed to reach my goals, as well as the ups and downs of what it was really like to transform from being completely addicted to food. I was sick my entire pregnancy with my 3rd baby, and the only foods that made me feel better were high carb, sugary foods. And so I gained a lot of weight with that pregnancy, and also a lot of my old addictions to food and challenges came back throughout that pregnancy. And so when Clara was born, she was beautiful, completely healthy. We were so excited to welcome our 3rd baby into the family, but I knew I had a lot of work to do because I just did not feel like myself. My entire pregnancy, it was like my body was taken away from me, and I'm sure a lot of moms watching this can relate. But I decided to take some before photos and get serious about making a change and transforming myself into my best self, how I feel my most confident and my most comfortable. So when I took these videos and I took my start weight and everything and measurements, I was ready to change. I was one of those people who came back from the hospital weighing close to what I weighed when I went in for delivery. For some reason, the weight just stayed with me, and I was extremely swollen, extremely bloated, but I was so ready to change and ready to transform my life and take control of my own goals. I struggled with food addiction my entire life. Since I was a little girl, I've just always had issues with eating sugar, higher carb foods, so I knew I had to cut them out completely. And so that's exactly what I did. I focused on my plan of working out 2 to 3 days a week, following a low carb, high fat lifestyle, just eliminating the carbohydrates as much as possible, and consuming 1 to 2 NAT ketones a day as a tool to help me stay on track. And that's exactly what it did. It helped me overcome my cravings. It helped me overcome the hunger and all of that comes along with shifting the lifestyle change. So I was able to stay on track and build these new healthy habits day by day, and just focusing on the day in front of me, eating the right types of foods and following my plan to help me transform. And so every day I feel like I was making progress towards my goals, even though some days were better than others. For the most part, I was doing the things I should do. Now, I also set up a gym in my garage because I noticed working out in my house was not working out for me. I was finding excuses not to work out, and so I knew I needed to have a designated area where I would make sure that I got my workout done every day. And so that's exactly what I did, and it helped me stay on track to that goal. And I absolutely love the low carb, high fat foods. I didn't feel deprived at all this entire journey. I wasn't perfect all of the time, but I always came back on track and did what I could do to stay focused and keep the vision and the goal ahead of me of where I wanted to reach and what I wanted to achieve within my own personal fitness goals. I wasn't doing this for anyone else but myself. I just wanted to take this opportunity, as this is my last pregnancy, my last baby, and focus on myself. We have been through so much as moms, like our bodies change so much. And so I didn't really want to wait. I just wanted to jump right into this and go for it. And that's exactly what motivated me and pushed me every single day to stay on track. I started enjoying workouts, as crazy as that sounds, because at first it was such torture for me to even just get in one workout a week. But slowly over time, those habits started forming, and that's what really helped me up my fitness routine and level. And so the higher fats foods and the NAT ketones combined helped me stay on track with the entire lifestyle. And I started feeling more confident, better in my clothes, and day by day, it just felt like I was becoming more and more of myself. And that was my goal, just to be confident in who I was and myself. And so as this being my transformation, I started doing some self-care and taking care of myself and just really focusing on my own mindset as I followed through with this lifestyle. Then I started working out in the mornings, early morning, because I found that it was easier for me to get up and work out before all of my kids were up in the morning. And I started focusing on writing out my goals, writing out in a journal, daily affirmations to help me get my mindset around staying on track for the long haul. But the system and everything that I followed really did make it super, super simple. Even though I wasn't counting macros and even though I wasn't perfect and maybe I had a couple carbs here or there, it was just easy for me to come back on track. Now, throughout this time, I adjusted my plan. So at this point, I'm working out 3 to 5 times a week as a goal. It didn't happen every week, but that was my goal, to just focus on 3 to 5 times a week. And then I started dropping and eliminating alcohol, really reducing it down and trying to do the things that made me feel personally my best. And so I noticed as my clothes were fitting better and I was finally achieving my goals, it actually didn't take me that long. It took about 6 months for me to focus on eating the right foods, staying on track long term, and always coming back if I ever fell off track, for me to actually reach that goal of losing the 60 pounds. And so I started loving my body again. I started feeling much more confident in who I am and what I'm achieving, and it just really opened up everything for me. I had more energy in my day. I slept better and I just felt so much better. And I started sharing my story and my journey with other people to help inspire and motivate them as well. Peter and I would go out on date nights and I just started feeling so amazing and so great. And it was so worth it to push myself through these early mornings and getting up when I didn't feel like it, as well as pushing through plateaus, because the ups and downs, they come so frequently with a journey like this. It's never a straight line down, but if you know that going in, it makes it so much easier to just stay on track and not get frustrated and spiral and go off track. So I really did work on my mindset a lot and my goal setting, and focused on just trying to show up for myself every single day. And so as I dropped all of these pounds one by one, it was really empowering. It felt really amazing. But of course, there are those days when you get on the scale and you gained a couple pounds, and that's all right, because our bodies are like that. We're not always going to have a straight line down. The goal is just to focus on every day trying to do the things that make you feel your best. So once I lost the majority of the weight, I decided to go in for a consultation for a tummy tuck, because I had a 3-finger gap between my muscles from these 3 pregnancies. And the only way to fix that is through surgery. And so this being my last pregnancy, I decided a tummy tuck was the perfect timing for me. I was not at my ultimate goal yet. I was still on my journey. But for me, that was the right time for me to go in and have the skin removed, because I felt like it might push me and motivate me to go to that next level of my own fitness goals. If I had that repaired and fixed, kind of like on my way to achieving my ultimate goal. So after surgery, I was extremely swollen, extremely bloated. As I mentioned before, I was not at my goal yet. And so this kind of pushed me to really get serious about focusing on getting to that next level. And so my next chapter began right after that tummy tuck surgery, and I was given the clear and go ahead to start working out again. I had so far to go even after my surgery, because even though I lost all of this excess fat and I was able to repair my muscles and they tightened the skin around my midsection, I still was not where I wanted to be. And so I focused on my routine, and I focused on just doing all of the things that got me to this point. And the thing is, with a tummy tuck, you really do have to stay focused on keeping your nutrition in check and staying the course with your goals. Otherwise, it can get out of control really quickly as far as the bloating and the swelling goes, as well as fat gain in other areas of your body. And so every day I just focused on making sure I got in at least a 25-minute a day workout. I made sure I drank my nat ketones 1 to 2 times a day. Some days I had keto cream, which is my fat coffee, and I just kept on showing up for myself. And slowly over time, I noticed my body was making progress, even though I kind of hit a little bit of a plateau and a stall after surgery, which is very common. And actually, a lot of people will gain 10 pounds after surgery. For me, I knew this was a possibility, so I just stayed focused on making sure I'm working out every day and following the low carb lifestyle and doing the things that I could do to stay on track to my goals. And I also kept up with my mindset, my meditation, and all of that to help me reach this next level. So I decided to really get serious and go this extra step, and I set a 78-day goal. So my goal was to stick to 25 net carbs per day, 25 minutes high intensity training workout 5 days a week, but a lot of the weeks I did all 7 days of the workout. This was just a home workout that I did and followed. And my goal was also to drink a gallon of water every single day, as well as cut out and eliminate all of the alcohol. So for me, that was really hard the first 10 days, but after that, it was so easy to stay on track without the alcohol involved. And I did not have any cheat meals that entire 70 days. I had Mitoplex electrolytes every single day to make sure my electrolyte balance was in check. And I had my ketones 1 to 2, sometimes 3 times a day, depending if I just wanted that extra energy boost. But every day I just set those goals and I stuck to them. And so by creating a 70-day window of focus, I was able to look at an end result and say, okay, well, I can stay on track for 70 days. I can do anything for 70 days. And so that was my goal. I just took it one day at a time, but I made it my focus to stay on track and to make it to the end of this goal. And so every morning I was working out. Every morning I was drinking my nat ketones. Every day I'm following a low carb, high fat lifestyle. I'm still not tracking macros, but at this point I know how to consume higher fats, moderate proteins, and low carbs just by eyeballing. And honestly, my lifestyle didn't change much other than I decided to focus and just not have those extra little cheats that can kind of stack up and add up. And this is where my results really went to the next level. And I'm always continually working on improving my fitness from this point forward. And believe it or not, my weight is actually very close to the weight that I had right when I went in for surgery. However, my body has changed so much because I have replaced fat with muscle and increased my metabolism. I'm able to eat more food and still reduce my body weight and get into shape by toning. And so it's not as much about the number on the scale. And so maybe you have a target on the scale that you're trying to achieve and you're looking at that target. And that's okay to say that you want to reach a certain point in a certain level, but understand that there might be some flexibility within your goals as time goes on, because you can notice my body really did transform so much, even though the scale didn't change as much. And so I could have let that get in my head and spiral me off track and get into the old habits of my food addictions and binge eating and all of those things. But I know for me, staying on track with this lifestyle, I know if I follow these steps exactly, I am going to achieve my best self and I'm going to reach those levels that I want to reach for myself. And so I stuck with it in faith and just continued on doing the things that I knew that I needed to do to get there. And in the end, I achieved that goal. And I'm always focused on achieving that next level of fitness for myself and getting to that point where, you know, it's not about necessarily like the number on the scale or how you look in a mirror or how you fit in your clothes, but having ultimate health and ultimate freedom from food and thinking about food. Like, there was not a moment in this entire journey that I was like feeling hungry or deprived or thinking about food, but I can tell you when I do eat the carbs and the sugar, I do think about food all the time, and it's like, what am I going to eat next? It becomes an obsession. So the biggest result from this entire experience of building the muscle, enhancing my health, is really breaking and losing all of those negative issues with food. I can tell you to this day, I love food, and I don't stay on track all the time, but I always come back on track, and I love staying and eating these types of foods long term. So thank you for watching this video, and if you want more, I do have some daily vlogs of the foods that I eat in a day over on Instagram. And check out the other videos on this channel for more ideas and motivation to help you stay on track.